Lab 1, setting up a basic system. Lab 1 is an ambitious lab where the expectation is that we're going to basically go through running up and setting up a system from scratch with the goal of getting an access granted notification through a door. Sounds easy enough, right? Part of the whole point of this lab is to kind of convey to the attendees that look, setting up a system doesn't actually have to take that long or even take that many steps here. You're going to see that you're going to be up and running and getting to that door in just a few minutes. We'll run through the steps together here, and then we'll go ahead and demonstrate myself doing those steps here. So the first step here is we log into Odyssey. Then our second step is to add the panel from unknown panels. So that's a screen that you can get to on the left-hand side on the nav bar. Once you're there, you're going to add your panel, ideally. So if you're using a Hartman-provided panel remotely for Office, you'll look for the one that matches your student ID. So if you're student 2, you're going to use student 2 panel. If you're bringing your own panel, which is fantastic, that's when you'll want to keep an eye on your MAC addresses and basically make sure you pick the panel that belongs to you. As we're adding that panel, we're going to uncheck the tamper sensor so it doesn't beep at you, and we're going to check the auto add doors enabled. That'll save us a step later. Third step is we're going to create one access privilege group, which is basically a rule that says where people are allowed to go or where users are allowed to go and when they're allowed to go. So speaking of when, we're going to use always access when you make that access privilege group. Number 4, we're going to add a user from the users section and make sure we put it into the access privilege group from the last step. After we add the user, we'll click continue. And on the edit user screen, we're going to either go to the mobile credentials tab if we're going to be adding a mobile credential for the lab. And or you can also go to the credentials tab and add a physical credential. You can also do that during the add step. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate both in my case. Finally, we'll update our panels and follow the instructions on the mobile credential enrollment reader to basically get through the door. So let's go ahead and give that a shot here. So we're going to click login. And from the sidebar on the left-hand side, we're going to scroll down to unknown panels. I'm student 3 today, so I'm going to use the student 3 panel. So just going to push the plus button next to it here. This will bring us to the add panel screen, and it's going to autofill the model for us. And we're just going to assign a name to it like, student 3 panel. We have an optional description, and you can see it autofills the MAC address for us. There's where we can set that panel password. And near the bottom here, we're going to uncheck that tamper sensor, confirm that we do have door contacts, which we do on the demo panels. And we're going to go ahead and check auto add doors, so it's going to add a door automatically. We're going to go ahead and click create, and then continue configuration. So now our panel is added, and it has 2 doors assigned to it, student 3 door 1, student 3 door 2. So from this point, we're going to go ahead and head to access privilege groups in the user section near the top of the nav bar. And it's empty right now, but we're going to fix that right now. So we're going to click add, fill in a name like access all readers. Everything else here is optional, but we're going to scroll down here. If we already had users, we could put them in the group right away, but otherwise we're going to check off the readers in this area right here and go ahead and do create. Now we're on to adding a user, so we'll go to users and back in the user section here. This is not a bad time to do an update to your panels as well, so you can see the update panels button on the top bar that we talked about already. You can see I have a little prompt next to it, basically saying, hey, you've made changes that haven't been set. So I'm going to go ahead and send that change. And it is normal to see a decryption error. We normally set encryption keys when we do the first update. You'll typically see it come online just a few moments after. So at this point, even if I read on the card reader, it will actually read off to me the card number that the reader read. We'll move on here to adding the user to the system. So on the users page, we're going to click the add button and fill in the first and last name. It also couldn't hurt to add the email here if you plan on using mobile credentials. Everything else here is optional, and we'll talk about those things later. Now, if you are adding a physical credential, you can either type it out manually here with the site code and card number that's assigned to it, or we can check the Use Enrollment Reader button, and it will let me choose a reader that I can use as an enrollment reader. And basically, the next card swipe that comes in, it will autofill the card number that came in. And there we go, 33, 38, 939. I'll click Add Credentials, so it moves on over to the right-hand side here. And then scrolling down a little bit, I have my partition and my access privilege group that we just made. So we're going to select the Always All Readers access group. And click Create and Continue Configuration. Now, if I only have a physical credential, I can pass a lab at this point by simply updating my panel first, and then presenting my card to the reader. And you can see there, I got access granted on the right side and have passed the lab. But if you don't have a physical panel with you and are looking to use it remotely, then we're going to move on here to the Mobile Credentials tab. On this tab, we already have our email filled in, but essentially we're going to click Add Mobile Credential. We can assign a name to it, names, Dave's phone, or anything like that. That way we can differentiate them. There's also a little added thing that lets me allow creation of visitor passes. Once we click add there, it's going to move it on over to the right-hand side. And I'll get an email in a few moments getting ready to add mobile credential. So in my email here, I have the mobile credential enrollment email. I'm going to click the applicable app store to get the HCKey mobile app. I'm going to go ahead and install that. I'm going to open it for the first time, bearing in mind that it does take a hot minute to load the first time you open it. But don't worry, after that, it opens very quickly. So now the app's open for the first time. It does let me know, hey, you need to receive a link in order to configure the app. I'll go ahead and switch apps back to the email that I was in. And there's an enrollment button here. If I click it, it will open into the app. I'll go ahead and accept the privacy policy. And now I actually have both my readers there on those doors that I just selected earlier. I can go ahead and update my panels so that it knows about the new mobile credentials. And now I can click on either one of those readers, like the Student 3 Door 1, and click Unlock Door. And it's going to show up on the right-hand side, just like my physical credential did earlier. And that's a pass on Lab 1.